So respect them for where we're going in. Trans need to learn, my friends. Transphobes come catch these hands. Trans need to learn, my friends. So respect them for where we're going in. Transphobes, show your fucking mouth. I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out.
There is no way to win over a crowd which seeks to only find enemies. There is no point in trying to placate a group which relishes in their own anger, because they need that enemy to feel divine and different. There are situations where disagreement and placation can coexist. You can agree with a Christian woman that men and women's bathrooms are dangerous, and acknowledge that shared goal without conceding to her belief that gender nonconformity or abortion is wrong. You can still be friends with a neighbor whose politics you disagree with, and instead speak of shared experiences. However, when it comes to the trans community, no matter how mild, no matter how much balance is sought, the only response they accept is subjugation. You just believe in the god of gender identity, or else burn in hell. Furthermore, the victimhood economy thrives on having an injustice to rally against. Even if you try your darndest, it's not enough. It's not allowed to be enough. Whereas a gay person might overlook an unfortunate wording from a well-meaning person, a misstep from a well-meaning ally in regards to gender identity will always be viewed as intentional. You can respect preferred pronouns. It's not enough.
They, them pronouns are not a problem for you because of grammar. You use singular they all the time. Someone left their sandwich here. The problem is you can't yet look at someone like me, your child, someone at your church, coworker, and see they. When a fellow human being tells you their deep truth and begs you to see it, and you can't see their dignity or their truth, I love you very much, but that's called bigotry. You're going to have to resolve, look at, face your bigotry first, and then, deal with grammar rules later.
My pronouns aren't preferred, they are mandatory.
Okay, how the fuck am I supposed to know when I'm only meeting someone on the go, and I'm not allowed to guess by how they look or how they dress or by what they got that's going on below? See, on this topic I'm a little gray. When meeting someone new, what do I say? Because if I have to start our talk asking if you have a cock, then you're not my kind of person anyway. And just one more little thing before I'm gone. Respect is earned, it's not demanded in a song. If you want to be a she or a they or a z, good for you, but you can't make me play along.
You can give them hormones, but it's not enough.
I'm gonna be right here.
And you can squeeze it.
The 6th grader is about to have a tiny medical device implanted in his left arm.
Cut this up.
Jack's dad and mom are at his side.
Oh, jeez, I'm really terrified.
Jack, just relax.
It's
just your head. Hey, Jack, relax. Just
Meredith's gonna put some more numbing to make sure
just
that it's all numb, okay?
The implant stops female puberty and will keep Jack from growing breasts.
There you go.
What would you say to people who think kids are just too young to make this kind of decision?
Sure, I'm a kid, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that I'm not a girl.
An estimated 1.4 million adults in the U.S. identify as trans, 150,000 teens. But figures for younger children are largely unknown. Here in the Bay Area, there are at least 6 clinics for trans kids. UCSF serves about 800 children at its 3 clinics. Stanford sees 300 kids. Kaiser Permanente wouldn't tell us how many patients it sees at its 2 centers. But we do know there are more than 1,000 trans children served at the other 4 clinics. Some kids started therapy at 3 years old to transition socially, which means changing their names and wardrobes to match the gender they choose. Which brings us back to Jack.
You want to see it? Yeah.
It's been more than 2 years since a medical implant began pausing his puberty.
It went really well. It's in there, and you know what? It's working right now.
Doctors recommend kids get off puberty blockers by the time they turn 14, which means Jack will soon have to decide whether to start taking testosterone to blend in as a boy, or get off the drugs to restart puberty as a girl.
why would I ever want to go back into that shell? Because I know deep down inside I am a boy. And I know I won't change my mind because being a boy is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, why would I ever want to be a girl again? Because I know that's not me.
You can chant trans rights, but it's not enough.
I want to make sure I don't misspeak because I have the utmost respect for trans people. I do just want to say I don't think it's fair to demonize lesbians for their sexual preferences. There are some that are okay with sleeping with women that have penises, but not everyone is, and I don't think it's bioessentialist. I think it's just what they're comfortable with and what their sexual preferences, and we can't treat that as a morality playground. Like, we have to accept that and not try to make people feel like there's something wrong with them for what they're attracted to. I think that since we are in a community where we fully understand what it's like for people to judge us and make assumptions based on our sexuality and the different things that we like, I don't think it's fair to then do that to lesbians. I don't think it is. We should be able to like what we like just like everyone else is able to. We're the only ones that are expected. Like, how come we don't have a conversation about gay men and them liking people that have vaginas? We never hear that conversation because people respect their sexualities. And I think that lesbians deserve that same respect. We can express our sexuality in whichever way we want to, whichever way we feel comfortable with. And we should have the freedom to choose who we want to sleep with as well without it becoming a whole morality thing and becoming like bioessentialist and things like that. Like, we like what we like, and it doesn't mean that we're only liking people because of their parts. And like, it becomes very, very uncomfortable very quickly. And I just feel like people love treating us like we're the villain in every fucking story. And it's tired. It's so tired.
Sexual boundaries? Transphobic.
This man is suing a female-only social media platform for alleged discrimination. I'm so exhausted by these men! Giggle is a platform designed for women founded by Sal Grover, which has sent many entitled males into a frenzy because apparently access to a vast variety of social media platforms isn't good enough for them. And this is all because this man thinks he is a woman. And his delusion is affirmed by a very loud group of people who insist that we refer to him as a woman out of respect. Ironically, they have no respect for actual women. Not a single ounce of respect for our single-sex spaces, our sports, our privacy and dignity, or our safety. I'm gonna say it. Men's rights movement. Most of the discourse surrounding this is happening on Twitter, so if you're interested in hearing more, Twitter. And don't forget to send love to Sal, because she is the best.
If gender is to liberate us, why can't I, as a lesbian, have a dick-free space? A space that is for women only, without penises.
I think you can do that in your home.
Supporting women's rights? Transphobic.
You're dying for this answer because you think it's a big gotcha moment. It's not.
It's less of a gotcha moment and more of an identifier of who stays true to core feminist values. If you think that woman is a voluntary political identity, then you're not a feminist. Saying so means that you believe misogyny is optional and that anything associated with womanhood is also political identity, which we both know is false. Nobody is asking a girl how she identifies before she's snatched off to a brothel village. Taking your argument to its logical conclusion means that you are incapable of advocating for issues specific to the female experience. All in all, you're not a feminist.
Acknowledging biological differences. Transphobic.
Let's talk about transphobia in sports. There's so many conversations around trans inclusion in sports. We have state houses all over the United States that are passing bills to make sure that no trans kids are allowed to play sport at any level in their state. The science we have now says that transgender women do not hold an unfair biological advantage over cis women. So that's what the science says. But let's just say I know now what so much of the rhetoric is as well, if someone has gone through a male puberty and they've ever experienced that male puberty, then they will always be unfair to play women's sports, and we have to protect women's sports, so we can't have anybody who's experienced a male puberty in women's sports if it's a trans woman. So okay, let's say that that's true, even though the science does not support that, but let's say that that is true. So now though, we have in dozens of states in the United States that have outlawed gender affirming care for trans kids. So if there was a young trans girl who let's say wanted to be a figure skater or a gymnast or a golfer or whatever the hell, she wouldn't be able to access the hormone blockers that would make it so that she would not go through a puberty. So do you see how we have governments and then we have governing bodies of athletics that are making it so trans people can't play sports anyway? But not only has trans women been able to play tennis and swim for the last 2 decades, how many Olympic trans tennis players or swimmers can you think of? Exactly, 0. When I was growing up, I got to play sports. And when I played those sports on teams, I learned about rejection. I learned about how to overcome an obstacle. I learned how to work together. I learned people skills. And when we take away the rights of kids to play sports with their peers, where you learn about that sort of thing, we're doing a huge injustice to trans kids for just not letting them play. I mean, this is not only about Olympic medals, it's also about society and about allowing people to learn and grow together and to not bully people. And we are literally legalizing bullying against trans kids under the guise of protecting girls' sports. So this is so much all wrapped up in transphobia. And also, by the way, if your state house has passed a bill against trans inclusion in sports, what's your property taxes like? What's your energy grid like? What's your day-to-day life like? The amount of energy that we've spent on legislating against trans people, we have much bigger problems than allowing trans kids to play sports. So that's why I think we should allow trans people to play sports.
Anything you do or say can be twisted to support the preferred narrative.
So I've decided to go ahead and respond to this comment. This commenter is calling me a fascist. I'm responding because this comment gets made a lot towards women like me. So I want to really underscore that, first of all, fascism is a system of dictatorial government in which the people are not allowed to disagree with the government. Ironically, I am the one here who is in disagreement with the government. Biden, I'm in the United States, Biden with his EO, other countries have done it with GREs. But here, Biden has put in place an executive order which basically erases the category of sex. The order replaces the category of sex with the undefinable category of gender identity. I am in disagreement with this. I am the one who is saying women should be able to self-define as a political class. Women should be able to fight for their needs as a political class based on the unique characteristic of sex. So I am the one who is pushing back. The government, big banks, big pharma are all trying to control my speech. I have had multiple videos that were banned and removed from TikTok. I have had speech that was banned and removed from Twitter. I've had things banned and removed from YouTube. So big tech, big corporations are in collusion with big government to silence women who are speaking out against this. Women have actually been arrested in different countries for hate speech, for speaking out about their own sex-based safeguarding concerns. So I find it very ironic when people say that I am the one who is the fascist, when in fact people like this are the ones who are putting fascist control on women who simply want to advocate for our political concerns and our needs on the basis of sex.
There are many sayings about pigs and stooping to their level. Take your pick. Just know that there isn't any point in doing so. To using words to tiptoe around their feelings, to participating in a lie to keep the peace. You'll never win. You'll never be a good enough ally. So why lie to yourself and deny what you know to be true for their sakes?
It's degrading.
It feels humiliating.
Humiliating, yeah. It's an open changing room. There aren't anywhere, there's nowhere to hide in there. We all have to get changed out in the open, so we're vulnerable. We have Muslim women, we've got Christian women, and we've heard about women, you know, wearing clothes underneath their uniform so that they don't have to actually get completely undressed in the changing room.
And to wear a vest and leggings under your uniform in the heat at the minute, it's just absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
She was kind of told that your staff need to be re-educated. We're just a bunch of ordinary nurses, and things have just escalated to this point that we just don't want to let this go, because we're going to end up with no safe spaces for women if we do.
There's a path forward through those conversations to acceptance, because ultimately including transgender people isn't hurting anyone. What's hurting people is this fear that has been stirred up, and that's not just hurting transgender people, it's hurting everybody.
This, dear viewers, is where we part. I've been holding on to various Reddit stories and TikToks where it's, even when people are trying their best to do the right thing, they get called out because no matter what, the level of allyhood continues to move up and up and up. It's always unobtainable. And it's very frustrating because, you know what, my mom, she does not like that I'm gay. She's gotten into arguments with my dad over this, where she'll tell him, it doesn't matter if she's gay, I don't like it, but she's my daughter and I love her. And you know what? I would love for my mom not to think that being gay is an issue, but I'm not going to get that. I'm happy enough to know that she still loves me and she wants me to be happy, and that she's willing to stand up for me when my dad says things that are overtly cruel. That kind of middle ground, that kind of acceptance isn't enough, because what they're not looking for is acceptance. They're looking for praise, for subjugation, for bowing at their feet. And yes, it sounds crazy sometimes trying to explain this to people, but the more and more time you spend lingering in this topic, in these TikToks and these Reddit forums and these posts, the more you realize that it's true. It really doesn't matter how much of an ally you want to be. Any boundary you have is enough for you to be painted as a bad guy. Anyhow, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.